guys, and welcome to Mike Drops Episode 0. My name is Mike Thompson. This show is not the actual show, this is the pre-show, right? What does that mean? This is the show where I introduce myself, I tell you a little bit about myself, where I come from. I also answer questions that I've gotten over the past year about what is Mike Drops, who is it for, when is it coming on, and what has taken it so long to actually come out. So let's get started. Who am I? I am a professional illustrator. I've been in the business for 20 plus years. All right, so I started as an airbrush illustrator. I used to paint on t-shirts, jackets, jeans. At the time, that was what everybody was doing, and I wanted to do it as well. So I used to paint Jessica Rabbit and Belle Biv DeVoe, whatever, right? I'm dating myself. There's going to be some people out there that are like, who are those guys? I don't even know who that is. But trust me, at the time, they were really, really big, right? Really important. No, I'm kidding. But all right, so I worked on t-shirts for a while, airbrushing. I realized that as much work as I put into it, only one person would have them, right? It'd be a one-off. And what I wanted was many people wearing my stuff. I wanted to kind of put my mark out there. So the logical progression was to go from spray painting one t-shirt to designing a print that would be on hundreds of shirts. And so I did that for a while. Whatever the hot summer song was by Will Smith or Public Enemy, that's what I would do. And that was fun. That led into working for a couple of companies as an artist and a staff artist. Worked there long enough that I became an art director, and eventually I wound up at an apparel company, a young men's brand called Echo Unlimited. So why was that important? While I was at Echo, I kind of started my direction into hip hop. So I worked on in addition to doing t-shirts, I kind of got into doing their ad campaign, which featured people like Mos Def, Fat Joe, Method Man, and it was good, right? It was fun. I'm a big hip hop fan, I always have been, so I got to meet these guys, I got to paint them, and then at the end of the day, see my stuff in print campaigns, which for me was a big deal. Starting to get a little more out there, get a little more exposure, which is what it's all about. If you are a fantastic artist, it doesn't matter if nobody sees your work, right? So I wanted people to see my work. So I stayed at Echo for a while, and then after I left there, I worked freelance. Like that was the end goal, was to work for myself as an artist, and that's kind of what ended up happening. So I'm not even gonna lie, that first year or two was scary because you don't have clients yet. You don't really have a defined style, which is important, but you got to do it. So I did that for a while. First year was pretty lean, but I got a call from Coca-Cola, and that was my first big client. I worked on an ad campaign with them that featured The Roots, Questlove, Scratch, Angie Stone, Music Soul Child, and was even in a Coca-Cola commercial, which for me was like crazy, right? So did that, but I always still kind of loved hip hop. I always still wanted to be tied to that industry because that's where my roots were really, and that's when I met Kanye West and worked on the Jesus Walks video with him. Did some artwork that was featured in that video. So. Flash forward to now, and recently I've done some movie work, and eventually got back to doing what started everything, which was comics. Right? I used to draw superheroes when I was little instead of play basketball because I can't play basketball, but I would draw Spider-Man, Superman, and I was pretty good at it. So now I work with companies like Warner Brothers and DC Comics on their campaign for a Cartoon Network, their show for Cartoon Network, shows, Green Lantern animated and Beware the Batman. And So that, for me, as a comic fan, was, amazing, right? Because I'm still just a nerd at heart, and I love drawing anything. Anytime I can draw superheroes, it's a good day. I did that for a while, and then got introduced to Marvel and worked on some stuff for Guardians of the Galaxy and an upcoming film that comes out in 2016. So I know what you're saying. It's called Mike Drops, not Name Drops. So why are you dropping all these names on me? Like, what are you trying to promote yourself? No. I just want you to know where I'm coming from, because when I have this show, I want people to be interested. And if anybody out there is into painting people's likenesses, or into hip-hop music, or superheroes, or any of the stuff that I'm into, then this show is for you. So I tell you all of that to tell you this: I've worked with a lot of people. I've been in the business for a long time, and I just want to pass that back on to the art community. And that's a perfect lead into the biggest question that I get, which is, what is Mike Drops? It's simply a show that's based towards creatives. Anybody from an aspiring artist to a graphic professional to an FX industry person, digital sculptor, anybody that loves art in some form or another. That's who this show is directed towards. And so it's a short show. It's only 4 to 6 minutes on YouTube, and the reason for that is because I know that you guys have stuff to do. People have a short attention span, and it's just long enough to hold that attention and teach you a little something to take with you, which might be of interest. The next question that I get is, what's going to be covered in the show? Like, what are you talking about? Everything, right? Everything in little tiny chunks. So stuff like applications, whether it be painting applications like Photoshop and Corel Painter, to digital sculpting with ZBrush, or rendering in KeyShot, all the way to traditional things like drawing and painting. I'll be talking about how to get clients, how to maintain your workspace and have a creative environment that's going to keep your brain moving in that direction. T-shirts, 3D printing, a whole bunch of stuff, right? A whole bunch of stuff. There should literally be something for everyone on this show. If I'm not doing that, I'm not doing it right. So if you subscribe to the Mike Drops feed on Twitter, you can ask me to cover future topics. And if I don't know the answer, I have a lot of friends in the industry that can give me that answer, which I would love to do a show and tell you about. So over the years, I've built relationships with companies like Corel and Wacom, and I've already talked to those guys, and I'm queuing up some really interesting tips to give you about things like, Cintiq shortcuts to painter tips, just a bunch of information for you guys, and I'm really excited to talk to you. All right, so the last question I'm going to cover is, why is the show taking so long? I announced this thing a year ago. Said it was coming out 2014 summer. Look for it. It's going to be dropping in 2014. It's 2015. It took so long. I'm not even gonna lie. I got caught up in some projects, and it took longer than it should have. But it's here now, so that's a good thing. And I'm going to work my hardest to bring it to you every week and make sure that you love it. And if you don't, you tell me what you want to see, and I'll make those changes for you. All right, so that is the show. Episode 0 is done, and hopefully I told you everything you needed to know to make you want to come back for episode 1. All right, my name is Mike Thompson. This is Mike Drops. Check out my website, MikeTArtworks.com. You can find me on Twitter at MikeTArtworks, and Instagram, same thing, hashtag Mike Drops. and I look forward to having you come back and subscribe to my YouTube, and I look forward to seeing you guys every week. All right, so that's Mic Drops.